Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the PAPAJO Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really want to say thank you all for being here. If you're watching live, popping in, thank you for joining. It really does mean a lot to me. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that took place over this past weekend, some commentary on it, if you will, and then realistically what to think about what's going on this week, what my thoughts are on it for this week. So if you are new to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow out. The more people in here, the more that can see the content. It really does help this for sure. So if you are new, check that subscribe button and then click that bell. And then towards the end of the video, if you get towards the end of it, do me a favor, smash those likes if you like it, of course. Also, just for the new folks here, I do 2 shows per day. I have one at 4:30 Eastern as well, in the afternoon. That is my Patreon show. That is where I get to take the gloves off, have a platform, whatever you want to call it, where I get to discuss things that would typically get a video removed because of our wonderful attack on our First Amendment rights. So that is my way of doing that. It also helps the channel out too, because some of this stuff does cost some money to get things going. So those of you who are part of it, it means the world to me. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to further support the channel, check out Crypto Confidential. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen and linked in the description of the video. That is where you get to have direct access to folks who are actually living the crypto life, and they are teaching others how to do so. That is definitely worth the investment that is there. It is by far one of the coolest setups that I have seen there as well. I also will every once in a while I'm going to write an article or do something for them, but they do live. They're working on some live events, some other stuff like that. So if you want to get together and hang out with like-minded people, if nothing else, join the group, come hang out. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, enough of all that fun stuff. If you would not mind, in the chat, we're going to use that as kind of a Q&A towards the end of the show. So stick around to the end of the show if you want to have a conversation with myself, and we will and or each other. I'll talk about whatever you want, within reason, of course, please, within the live chat that's running on YouTube. And we will throw any questions if you don't mind, any comments, any concerns, etc. in that, and we'll address them towards the end of the video. So let's jump right in, shall we? Over this weekend, as everybody who is in the crypto space, I'm sure, has noticed, that it was a really wild ride. It was a crazy weekend. The daggum price of Bitcoin effectively fell off the daggum cliff, and people were freaking out. And I think there's a few reasons why, and I'm going to get into those here in a few minutes. This is just me kind of poking around going, what really happened? Why did that happen? That kind of stuff. So Bitcoin's in an interesting spot right now. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure right now what it may look like yet. But it's interesting to me is that Bitcoin is actually up and the Dow is down. That usually they're either both down or both up. That's usually how they do that. The NASDAQ is up, which is interesting, which is usually also odd that they're not all correlating together. S&P is down. So I don't know. That seems a little weird to me just from a sentiment perspective, looking at that going, why it happened there? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Kind of something sort of maybe to think about. Gold is also down. It went down and it rebounded. It has to rebound because Putin decided to create a floor for gold, so they can no longer adjust things the way they were before, if you know what I mean. Same thing with silver. Silver got slammed down pretty hard too. Looks like Divi is having its normal runs, ups and downs, if you will. It came down a little bit. Not much, but a little bit this past weekend as well. Everything literally jumped off a cliff this past weekend, which is interesting. Same with Ethereum. Don't usually talk about Ethereum on this channel too much. Ethereum's great, but they basically pinholed themselves, and other technologies like Matic leapfrogged them. Matic not only has the layer 2 solution for Ethereum, but it also has a layer 1 solution that people aren't quite paying attention to yet. Matic, for what it's worth, I want to say, I was reading an article yesterday or maybe this morning, I don't remember. I want to say it was like 60 something percent. Y'all keep me honest if you don't mind, please. By the way, if there's anything I misspeak on, if you will, for in the channel, do me a favor and pop in the live chat and tell me. I want to learn. I don't want to mislead anyone, so let me know. Do be kind if you don't mind. 'Cause I'm trying to be as honest about this stuff as possible. If I grab the wrong information, though, tell me. Anyways, uh, Matic or Polygon is had 60 something percent development or new distributed applications or DDApps that were launched on Polygon rather than Ethereum. If you compared the two, so that is very surprising to me that it actually took a dive like it did. Right, it's at 107 right now. And historically it was hovering for a while above 100 or $1.40 or in that ballpark, but I don't know how to use this tool very well. It was up above $2 at one point, which is fantastic. So anyways, this one's got some legs, so it's taking a breather just like everything else right now. It's on sale, so to speak. That one is interesting. And then also Axie did the same thing. Those of you who don't know about Axie, part of the reason I talk about Axie, Matic, Divi, soon I'll really kind of start focusing in on Shiba a little bit more. And I focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot. Litecoin's another one, but the reason these are interesting to me is because a lot of people don't realize this, but they do. They're starting to learn this. You can actually earn a residual income with these assets just by simply parking a specific amount of funds into those assets, and then you earn effectively a very nice dividend inside of those. It's like owning a rental property that you don't have to maintain. As people start to realize this with these platforms, they will continue to rise just from a monetary or financial perspective. If you wanted to seriously dig into what's going on behind the scenes and build inside of them, they are phenomenal platforms to build inside of. Now, I don't think Divi has a EVM right now. I think that they may be working on something towards that. I don't know what that looks like. I have not been previewed to that information, so I could see that being something very interesting, how that might look like. Anyways, very, very cool stuff happening in the space. Yes, everything is taking a breather, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing. But I'm going to give you 2 or 3 reasons here today as to why I personally think everything jumped off a cliff, if you will, right before the weekend started, all through the weekend, and then it seems to have rebounding or having some legs back underneath it towards the end of yesterday. But before I move into that, do me a favor, pop in the chat and tell me what you're drinking. Can even be water. I'm drinking what's this from Guatemala? A Guatemalan coffee. Absolutely love it. It's black, but those of you who know regulars on my show, I love having a good cup of coffee. I want to say that one's from Guatemala. It's more savory rather than sweet. Different coffees have different flavor palettes, just like different bourbons or cigars or whatever they have, or wines. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about with that stuff. Coffee, though, I definitely, for sure, different palettes, different flavors. It's very, very good stuff. So, yeah, pop in the chat. Let me know what you're having today, this afternoon. Can even be water. Doesn't matter. But let me know. We're very curious. Very, very curious. And kind of try to have fun with that, right? So, interestingly enough, a lot of people know this is coming this week. The Fed is going to be raising the rates. So, naturally, even Cointelegraph and all of the other crypto-related articles or, shall I say, news publications are tying it falling to the Fed's decision. I don't want this William Zuberg or whoever else is going to be doing these articles to think twice before they start posting and tying things like this to our government in any way. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank. It is not beholden to anything in our government. It is not part of our government. It is nothing to do with our government. It is a private bank. Its sole purpose is to print money and give that money to our government to then use it in our systems, our governmental systems that we have today. No, your tax dollars, by the way, do not pay for that. They go to pay the interest on the debt that is received from the Federal Reserve. It's a lovely game, but we talk about that in the Patreon. Patreon, that kind of stuff is stuff that we dig into there. There is a private Telegram chat in there, and I posted a bunch of videos yesterday in that chat that give you a very high-level storyline type of a conversation around what's happening. And I'll add more as they are available and whatnot. So, anyways, I want to bring this up because all of you people who are crypto news publications or whatever, please pay attention to what you're doing. In a way, you're misleading people. In a way, you're telling people that this cryptocurrency running on a blockchain technology is tied to the whims of the interest rates. It isn't in any way connected to that. Bitcoin does not care. It is a deflationary currency, not an inflationary currency. There is a very big difference. If you don't know, go look it up. Effectively, the longer Bitcoin's around, it is mathematically programmed to be more valuable over time. It is supposed to be. The other cryptocurrencies in this space are blockchains. They are designed to be able to be where businesses go and build out what they're going to do, what we are all going to use in the future. It's just how that works. All right. Now, I'm just going to show you what I mean here. The U.S. Central Bank will make its biggest blah, blah, blah. I clearly need more coffee. The U.S. Central Bank will make what is becoming a monthly. Excuse me. And another notification come across that was not. Anyways, I thought I turned those off. Sorry about that. The U.S. Central Bank will make what is becoming a monthly dictation of what markets do this week with a new rate hike announcement. See how they are tying Bitcoin into this? Bitcoin starts a new week with much to make up for after this worst April performance ever. The monthly close, Bitcoin firmly within its established 2022 trading range, and fears are already that $30,000 or even lower is next. That said, sentiment is improved as May begins. While crypto broadly remains tied to macro factors, on-chain data is pleasing. It's pleasing rather than panicking analysis. Why are they talking so much? You gotta wonder why are they doing this? Macro markets are as is now the standard, on edge as another U.S. Federal Reserve meeting looms. As inflation runs rampant worldwide, it is expected Chair Jerome Powell will make a good on his previous pledges to announce key interest rate hikes. Cointelegraph, please stop. Bitcoin has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. Bitcoin has nothing to do with rate hikes. Bitcoin has nothing to do with interest rates. Bitcoin doesn't care. It's very, very interesting to me whenever I see articles like this because it's really, really, really makes me go, man, y'all just don't get this, do you? They will. They'll eventually get it. It just doesn't care. Blockchain technology is a technology. It's a train that left the station. It cannot be stopped. It's toothpaste out of the tube, genie out of the bottle, whatever. It is unstoppable with regard to these types of anomalies, as they like to call them. So, that is one interesting little tidbit that people are really freaking out. They're listening to these types of articles. I don't know. I wish there was some sort of data on here. Is there data on here? I can see how many times this article's been opened or read. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I don't know how many people see this type of stuff and they go, if they're going to raise the rates, I'm going to dump Bitcoin and then I'm going to buy it back whenever it gets to a certain point, kind of thing. Or I'm just going to dump it and say, screw this stuff. Not even going to do it. I don't know. But Federal Reserve wants to cool the U.S. housing market. Here's what that feels like. It doesn't feel very cool at all. Reuters, mid-April, months into the increasingly frustrating housing hunt. Harsh, interesting. Growell and his wife settled on a place in San Francisco suburb where and were prepping a bid above the listing price so that they had a chance of besting other offers in one of the nation's hottest housing markets. Then he checked his phone and saw several alerts, all touting reduced prices for other homes they'd been tracking. The Growls pulled their offer and put their search in on ice in hopes it was a sign the market was finally cooling. I want to see where this goes. And when the dust settles, Growl said. That's exactly what the Federal Reserve policymakers hope to see more of as they raise interest rates to bring down the 40-year high inflation. Now, why in the world would that matter? Housing could start to cool off. Is that really what the Federal Reserve's policy is trying to do with this, with the inflation? Those of you who have followed the channel long enough know that this is something that I've talked about, where housing is unfortunately a bedrock of our economy. I say unfortunately because they have taken the mortgages, created securities of those mortgages and bonds of those mortgages, and then they started trading those mortgages. And with inflation rising, people aren't going to be able to afford their houses, and that's just how it works. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's wrong, and it becomes this game that they play back and forth, and up and down in the pricing, and then they're making money while you're losing money. They want to cool the housing market because that is where you see the biggest effect of the rising inflation. What does all this have to do with crypto? From my perspective, nothing. And yet crypto comes down with the rest of the market. And yet crypto is tied to what seemingly is coupled to how the Dow performs. It is tied to how the rates get hiked, etc., etc. Why? Should be asking that question. Why? Well, there are regular traders who trade both the crypto and the stock market at the same time, all day, every day. That's kind of what they do. I have a interesting suspicion, though, that there are a lot of people who are getting into the crypto space who are listening to people like this. Wrong one. Thought I closed that one. This knucklehead. Now, he has made a ton of money, and that's fantastic. He did good. Whatever. I don't know if it's because he was tipped off, because he was someone's friend, blah, 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 blah. We all know how that works. If you follow my Patreon, you know how that works. So he basically says that he wouldn't take all the Bitcoin in the world for $25. Assets to have, his quotes, assets to have value have to deliver something to somebody. See, he's missing that this is like the $20 bill that he holds in his hand there. He's missing that crypto, that Bitcoin in particular, is like a digital transfer of value between two people. And he's missing that and the other cryptocurrencies, the other platforms, if you will, the other blockchains that you can actually make residual income, like he talks about in this article. In this art, it's a really long article. Well, not really long. In this article, actually, I will read some of it to you here. Warren Buffett has always been a Bitcoin skeptic, but the billionaire investor had his most harsh words yet for the cryptocurrency over the weekend. Buffett made it clear in his opposition to crypto has nothing to do whether people can make money trading Bitcoin. Buffett's opposition is purely principle because Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. Guess what, Buffett? The dollar has no intrinsic value. Technically, stocks don't have intrinsic value. If that's your premise of not liking this, you shouldn't buy stock and you shouldn't use the dollar. Just saying. Intrinsic value would imply gold or silver and then being able to use it in some way. Like, I don't know, in your cell phone for silver or gold for jewelry or whatever. You can change it and use it in other ways and it still has value, carries value. Now, continuing here. Whether it goes up or down in the next year or 5 or 10 years, I don't know. But one thing I'm pretty sure of is that it doesn't multiply. Really? That's kind of the point. It's limited in supply because it cannot be printed into oblivion. It doesn't produce anything. It produces value. It produces the ability to transfer value, real value, between people, between countries, between entities. Buffett said in the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, Nebraska on Saturday. It's got a magic to it, and people have attracted magics and to lots of things. He continued. Now, I really, here we go. This is the fun part. If you told me you own all the Bitcoin in the world and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it because what would I do with it? I'd have to sell it back to you one way or another. Maybe it'd be the same or maybe it'd be the same people, but it isn't going to do anything. Buffett, you haven't been wrong often, buddy, but you are not thinking or looking at this appropriately. He's talking about apartments. Now, the apartments are going to produce rentals, and farms are going to produce food. And if I got all the Bitcoin, Buffett said, trailing off before referring to Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, who may or may not have existed. Satoshi could create a mystery about it. People, he's correlating farming and rental properties to Bitcoin. And he's correlating dollars to Bitcoin, except he doesn't realize that it is real money compared to the paper in his hand. Now, I get it. He's 91 years old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's fine. I'm not even going to think about that kind of stuff. Don't even try. But he needs to understand that his weight in saying something like this can change the direction of the markets. And the reason being is because people pay attention to him because he's rarely wrong. Him having the clout that he has and the ability to change the things that he can do, doing this little stunt to try to drive it down so that they could probably go get their own. If you really think about it, anytime any of these people say something negative about it and then the markets tank, guess what happens? They're just shaking out the people's weak hands. Oh, I'm not going to touch this stuff. If Warren Buffett won't touch it, I'm not touching it. And yep, they've got people on the back end buying it. Maybe he doesn't individually do it, but people around him do. Do you understand? It's very, 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 very frustrating to me to see someone like this come out and just arbitrarily say something and then watch people listen to somebody who has no idea what they're talking about with it. If he knew what he was talking about, he would be all in on Bitcoin. And unfortunately for him, for Berkshire Hathaway, and for other people who pay attention, they don't get what Bitcoin is enough to be able to realize that it's just as important. It's more important and more real money than the dollars, the $20 bill he's holding in his hand in that image. Oh, and by the way, taking Bitcoin and parking it into yield earning assets, like your rental properties, buddy, it will earn you more of a return by letting somebody use it for liquidity for trading. Happens every day, all day. That's just one of many, many use cases. Guess who else poked fun at Buffett for saying this? Elon Musk weighs in after Warren Buffett says he wouldn't pay $25 for every Bitcoin. The 91-year-old billionaire doesn't see crypto as a productive asset because he doesn't know what it is or how it works. Hey, Buffett, if you want to learn, I'd love to teach you. Be fun. But we'd have to figure out how to do that. Okay? Anyways, added that he wouldn't buy it for Bitcoin for $25. Let's see. What did Elon say about this? Tesla SpaceX chief Elon Musk responded. He says Bitcoin so many times. In other words, he's talking about Bitcoin so much. Even in a negative regard, it is in front of people's faces. It's very funny, personally, to me. Anyways, do me a favor. If you are watching live and you are in the live chat, if you want to ask any questions, let's treat this time as a Q&A. If you have gotten this far watching this, do me a favor and smash the likes. Helps train the algorithms to let other people who are looking for this type of information to find these types of videos and get the information that we talk about, the education that we talk about, or even the entertainment that is here in front of those types of people who need that as well. Anyhow, I'm going to run through the chat, and towards the end, we'll have some fun. Tom, what's going on, brother? How are you doing today? Appreciate you being here. Very much so. Very much so. Kim, good morning. Appreciate you being here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bitcoin Bull, what's up? How are you doing, my friend? Oh, you're talking about Tom. Just stuck a 15-minute debug. Yeah, I'm driving out there in the bug. That's just crazy. Tom, did you debug the inside of your truck? China Puppet Joe Minister Disinformation might be listening to what you're saying. You're awesome, dude. Lithia, how are you? Good morning. Appreciate you being here. Johnny Mattis, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. Trini Man, how's it going? It's good to see you. Appreciate you being here as always. Let's see here. Bitcoin Bull, what's holding Theta down? I have not seen a Guardian. No, not the Cleveland baseball team reward since mid-January. You might want to reach out to their support if you haven't seen that. Or restart the system, or check your internet, or make sure that, I don't know. Maybe schedule some time with me to take a look at it. For those of you who don't know, I do have a company doing these things. Share this over here. AsterWatchingConsulting.com. It's linked in the description of the video. Yeah, check it out. Schedule some time if you need help with stuff like that. We'll take a look at it. It's always a fun time to dig into things like that. Let's see who else we got here. Crypto Disposition. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Gloria, how's it going? Hope you've had a great day. A little late. It's better late than nothing. Better late than never. Daddy-o, what's up? I'm late. Nope, it's better late than never. Thanks for being here. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys and gals are always here like this. Doesn't Berkshire Hathaway own Bitcoin? I actually don't know. But they probably do. Let's see here. Who else we got in here? Good morning, Sai. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. John Gibson, may the Lord bless your week. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Very much. Kenny Joseph, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. Thanks for popping in. Honestly, I'm not sure why people care about Buffett. Well, what Buffett says about Bitcoin crypto. As far as I know, he doesn't trade Forex, so why would he care about crypto? Exactly my point, dude. Thanks for bringing that up. people listen to him because he's never. I don't know. It's maddening. It's maddening. Why do people listen to him? Those in the crypto space know he doesn't know what he's talking about. Those in the crypto space know that he's dead wrong about what he's saying. That's kind of what I'm talking about with the Federal Reserve. That's why I'm talking about why are these people talking about this stuff and tying this to the rate hikes. It doesn't matter. And they don't get it, that it doesn't matter. But they're going out and they're saying all these things so that they can go collect as many of the Bitcoin that people who don't get this yet dump on the market. I don't know. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Thank you all for being here today. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here because I do need to jump on to another call. And as long as all goes according to plan, I'll have a Patreon this afternoon. If you're not part of the Patreon, please consider joining it. It is does help the channel out for sure, but it's also where I get to dig more into stuff like this. And then as I get my scheduling interviews is interesting. As I get those set up, we will be doing those in the Patreon first as early access, and if sometimes it will only be inside the Patreon. So, anyways, thanks for joining. Gotten this far, smash those likes, and talk to you guys this afternoon. See ya.